Good evening, everyone. I'd love to welcome everybody to our regular city council meeting, Monday, November 17th, 2025. If everyone would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. Okay. Yeah. All right. We got a few proclamations to hand out this evening, so I will be doing it down there at the. Okay. Still need to get some WD-40 for this thing. All right. Well, once again, Fort Mill High School has done their thing, and we've got some champions. I'll tell you, we just keep breeding champions at Fort Mill High School. I tell you, it's awesome. Okay. So this is a proclamation recognizing the Fort Mill High School Yellow Jackets as the 2025 York County Girls Flag Football Champions. Way to go. All right. Whereas on Monday, October 20th, 2025, the Fort Mill High School Yellow Jackets made history by winning the first ever York County Girls Flag Football Championship, defeating Northwestern High School 27-12 in the title game and averaging their only regular season loss. Whereas this inaugural season featured 6 pioneering programs: Fort Mill, Northwestern, South Point, Rock Hill, Catawba Ridge, and Nations Ford, whose student athletes showcased remarkable skill, sportsmanship, and teamwork while laying the foundation for the future of girls flag football in York County. Whereas the Fort Mill Yellow Jackets entered the championship as the #1 seed, advancing past Rock Hill in the semifinals and delivering a dominant defensive and offensive performance in the final to secure a 2-possession victory in an undefeated postseason run. And whereas this championship marks a milestone moment for girls athletics, providing a platform for growth, competition, and community pride, while inspiring future generations of student athletes to pursue excellence both on and off the field. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the City Council of the City of Tega hereby recognizes and congratulates the Fort Mill High School Yellow Jacket girls flag football team for their historic victory as the 2025 York County Girls Flag Football Champions, and commends all participating schools, coaches, and athletes for their role in launching a new era of girls sports in our community. Y'all come on up. Push it all the way out of the way. Okay. Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. You guys don't want to stay for the rest of it? It just gets better from here. I'm telling you. Just drop the papers in my box. I'll sign it off for you, government class. All right. Okay, we've got another proclamation tonight since Tim was not able to be with us the other time. So this is a proclamation for Arbor Day 2025. Whereas the city of Tega is celebrating 34 years as a Tree City, USA, which recognizes the value of trees to our community and has adopted the act of celebrating the first Friday in December as Arbor Day. Whereas properly maintained trees not only contribute to the aesthetic appeal of our community, but also increase our property values, beautify our neighborhoods, and enhance the overall quality of life in our city by filtering stormwater and reducing air pollution. And whereas it is the purpose of this proclamation on this day throughout the state of South Carolina to encourage planting trees in a celebration of Arbor Day. Now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Tega, do hereby proclaim Friday, December 5th, 2025 as Arbor Day in the City of Tega. We encourage all residents to join us for the Arbor Day ceremony, which will be held at the Tega Glennon Center at 2 p.m. During the ceremony, the city will plant a southern magnolia tree in recognition of Sue Galaski and her outstanding contributions to the city, the Lions Club, the community, and the residents of Tega. Okay. All right. You want to take my picture with that girl? I'm just kidding. Okay. We got enough of those. All right. We'll pass it to Mr. Funderburk, please, if you would, sir, the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. From our Development Services Department, the Grove is continuing construction on retaining walls at this time. Staff and the COG, which is the Catawba Council of Governments, are working in conjunction with the Comp Plan Steering Committee to finalize recommendations. And we expect a draft document in the next several weeks. The code enforcement module for our Evolve permitting platform is now live. I'd like to congratulate Ben Buchanan, who is our stormwater manager. He's also our environmental guy. He has earned his post-construction BMP certification through Clemson Extension. And on a somewhat sad note, our permit clerk, Tara, has taken a new opportunity to advance her career and will be leaving us soon. We are actively seeking to fill that position. And we just ask for everyone to be a little bit patient with us through the permitting process as we go through the end of this year. As you've probably seen several places on social media, the fire department has received an appropriation through the USDA totaling $534,000 to go towards the new ladder truck, which was this appropriation was sponsored by Senator Lindsey Graham, and we want to give him a sincere thank you to him and his office for that appropriation. We're anticipating that funding coming in early 2026. In Parks and Recreation, our fall recreation sports season will officially wrap up at the end of this week. Special thanks to our programming staff and our volunteer coaches for another successful season. And believe it or not, we'll be back at it soon for spring of 2026 as registration will begin December 1st. So right around the corner. As recreation sports conclude, park maintenance staff has started all-season projects. They have started renovation work at Diamond Head Park, fixing existing equipment, installing irrigation, and updating landscaping. Staff has repainted the disc golf cages down at Lookout Park, and the department plans to renovate the tee boxes this winter for our disc golf enthusiasts. We anticipate completing smaller-scale renovations at other pocket parks and installing new batting cages at Rundy Park, and completing another section of repurposed turf at Catawba Park in the baseball softball complex. Big thank you to everyone who participated in our Spooktacular Week events. We've begun transitioning to the most wonderful time of the year, and we'll kick that off with the city tree lighting and the arrival of Santa Claus on December 4th at 6 p.m. right up here, like we always do. So looking forward to that event right around the corner. Starting November 27th through December 15th, the young and young at heart can stop by City Hall to drop off their letters to Santa. Look for the mailbox next to the North Pole outside of City Hall or Santa's mailbox inside the lobby. So get your letters written and get those dropped off. In our Public Works Department, our maintenance team has completed several projects, including Christmas lights along TK Drive, getting the Christmas tree up at the Glennon Center, and pruning trees in areas of Lakeshore. The department is currently up to date on all pothole repairs and has completed an up-to-date list of all private and public streets within the city, totaling 27 private streets and 211 public streets. Lastly, the department has submitted, well, not lastly, but the department has submitted the C-Fund request for the next funding cycle to York County. So that has been submitted. And just an update, a technician is scheduled to be on site tomorrow, hopefully to be able to make repairs to one of the leaf vac trucks to get it operational. The other leaf vac truck is still waiting on parts to come in so that we can get it operational. We have been notified by Signature Waste that some areas have been putting leaves in their trash carts. They don't really necessarily have a problem with that, but if you're going to do so, please bag them. Putting loose leaves in those carts, as you can probably imagine, creates a little bit of a mess when they go to dump the carts into their loaders. So our crews are still running all areas, picking up bagged items. If you prefer to leave your bags at the curb, our crews will be getting them. And last but not least, our police department. The department has compiled their monthly crime stats for October with 451 calls for service, 36 incident reports, 2,735 property checks, 522 traffic stops, 4 parking citations, 7 vehicle collisions, 15 custodial arrests, 5 DUI arrests, and an average response time of 3 minutes and 20 seconds, along with hosting 5 community events. And exciting news, on December 5th, the police department will be hosting Crafts and Cocoa with the Grinch. Stop by the police department between 5 and 8 p.m. Take a festive photo with the Grinch and make your own Christmas crafts. There will be warm cocoa and snacks for everyone to enjoy. Also on December 5th, the annual Lighten Up the Holidays self-guided tour kicks off. Sign up to have your house included as a featured stop on this year's tour map. Those who'd like to participate can visit the city website or Facebook page to register your home. And the department was awarded a traffic enforcement grant through the state, totaling $29,737, and this came from the Department of Public Safety. And this will further the department's initiatives to creating a safer community through traffic-related enforcement and community education campaigns. So that concludes my report for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. That will bring us to cover our committee and commission reports. And if we could, please have Mr. Nick Coffin for our Planning Commission.
Oh, Nick's here. Good evening tonight. So Planning Commission met on Monday, November the 3rd. The commission welcomed Mr. George Waitman. It was his first meeting as a newly appointed member of the commission, and staff presented an overview of an annexation and rezoning request at 1557 Hubert Graham Way, which is currently under construction. It's located right off Vineyard Road, directly beside River Falls, adjacent to a property that was formerly rezoned and annexed a few months ago. The request is driven by the property's owner's intent to establish a driveway connection to Hubert Graham Way instead of the sole connection to Vineyard Road. The commissioners asked several clarifying questions regarding that, but it was simply a discussion, kind of letting them know, giving them an opportunity to, see what was coming up early next year. I would be my guess for a public hearing to move along with that. But that's all that I have.
Thank you, Nick. For our EDC, I'd like to call Theo.
Let's see what I can do it.
You want to do it? Okay. Never mind, Theo. Carmen will do it.
The EDC Economic Development Commission met on October 27th. They discussed the opportunity to implement the welcome wagon for all new businesses, and they will be working with existing businesses to create a welcome basket of sorts with some discount vouchers, some marketing materials to introduce them to other local businesses, and also will benefit from having some business spotlights in local media to get them started with their grand openings. There will be a Business Connect meeting Q1. It's scheduled for February of 2026. That seems like such a weird date. February of 2026. There's more details to come soon. And that was it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. That will bring us to our Stormwater and Environmental Committee. Ms. Heather Jones, if you would, please.
Stormwater met this past Monday, the 10th of November. We had a quorum. We continued our discussion regarding the Adopt a Drain program. We had some really good information brought with sort of some different options on how it's been implemented in other places with both national and local levels. So that is something that the group is continuing to research and have some discussions with for what would be the best fit for our city in terms of what we would like to see. We also had a discussion of, we have a vacancy currently from a member submitted their resignation from the committee in October, and then also a discussion for, I will be submitting my resignation from the committee after our December meeting. So just preparing for the transition for a new chair to be selected in January, and then making sure that those roles are submitted for applications to be accepted along with the members that will be turning over in the next year cycle. So that was it for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather. And that would bring it to me for our steering committee. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody that is on the steering committee. There have been some late night discussions, and it's been a work in progress throughout it all, and I appreciate everybody. Carmen, appreciate you being there and giving your guidance and expertise. Heather, thank you for being there as well, and everybody else that has been on that committee with us. Just outstanding job. So we discussed our park and rec, kind of the agenda as far as what we would like to see with our park and rec programs going forward and our facilities going forward. We've nailed down a lot of good ideas. Thank you to the public for providing a lot of your ideas. A lot of that got incorporated into the comprehensive plan. And we worked on putting the final touches on everything, and we should have the finished product out soon. So just be looking for that to be coming out. And it's a fantastic 25-year comprehensive plan. A lot of thought, a lot of time, a lot of preparation has gone into it. So we just look forward to putting that product out and it being such an outstanding product. So thank you again for everybody that did everything on that committee. And that was about it. So we'll cover public comments. First up, Kyle Hancock.
Hey, how you doing? I'm Kyle Hancock, and thank you for having me and allowing me to speak. I live in Rock Hill. I've been kayak fishing the Catawba River for about the last 10 years. There's a big trash problem at the Fort Mill Dam. I've spoken to Mr. Funderburk about it through email and over phone throughout the years, provided pictures. Tega Cape Parks and Rec does pick up the trail and 6 feet to the left and right of the trail. The big problem is about halfway down the trail, there's a power line with a lot of rocks, riprap, retaining rocks. That's Duke Energy property, so TEK is not required to pick it up, and it's also a danger, I've been told. So that's the most frequented area. People have a path where they've moved rocks, and it's very easy to access. They leave all of their trash in the rocks. The water comes up, there goes all the trash. This has been happening for about 7 or 8 years that I know of now. They leave every bit of this that they bring, like I said, because TK can't do it because it's not their property, too dangerous. I pretty much do it by myself. So I'm just asking for something to please be worked out between the city and Tega or Duke Energy to get that done. My next point is about discarded inflatables. Every year, hundreds and thousands of people, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds and thousands of people go out there and float. Their floats get popped on the rocks, they get left. These floats take an estimated 1,000 years to break down, which they then turn into microplastics, which animals ingest and killing them. I'm again out there by myself picking this up. I have no help. No one from the city goes, no county. There's a thing called Catawba River Keeper that meets once a year. Volunteers go out there and clean once a year, doesn't do it. I've talked to DNR, I've talked to Tega, I've talked to Rock Hill, I've talked to police. And I'm just asking for some help to please take care of our, I feel like it's our greatest natural resource that we have in the area, and we take it for granted. The Catawba River, the lake, I think that's why many people come here, and I'm just asking for help to please help me pick it up. I could go out there right now and fill up several bags of trash right now. There's lots of it out there. I went to the dam on the tour Saturday just to specifically talk about this. They recommended I come here. And I checked it out just to see how it looked. It looked terrible. And yeah, I have lots of videos and pictures. You can look up Carolina Bass Hunter. I have a playlist entitled Float Trash, and it's just nothing but float trash at the river. And that's pretty much all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Trish Schneider.
Good evening. I'm Trish Snyder, 1898 Larkspur Way. I just wanted to let council know that this past Saturday, I held our annual Toys for Tots tournament, and thanks to you all for adding the courts, we were able to have our highest amount yet. We had 70 participants, and we filled an easy, probably 5 overflowing boxes of Toys for Tots. So I just wanted to thank you all for letting that happen and allowing us to have those courts so that we could provide that for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Trish. And thanks to the pickleball folks for all those toys for the kids. That's going to be great. Absolutely. Okay, Mary Eichert.
Hi guys, sorry, I'm recovering from foot surgery, so still limping around a little bit. Good evening, council. Mary Eichert, Molokai Extension. I'm here to address my concerns regarding the deer management issue going on right now. With my first question basically being, what happened? Like I said, I live on Molokai Drive, and over the past year, I've seen dramatically fewer deer to the point where it feels like they have practically vanished. And for many of us, that brings mixed feelings. Our scenery, our green spaces, and wildlife are a big part of what makes TK special. It's part of why I moved here, and so many of the people moved here. We all understand why the population has dropped. Last year's sterilization project, last year's culling, of course, natural attrition. What does confuse me and doesn't make much sense is why the city suddenly stepped away from the sterilization program and why communication around deer management this year has become basically crickets. Last year, the city publicly committed to a multi-year science-based sterilization plan. We were told it was the long-term solution, that this year, without explanation, sterilization was quietly abandoned. Many residents only recently learned the city's plan to rely almost entirely on culling again. Information about wildlife management shouldn't come through rumors on social media or seldom notices. The lack of transparency, once again, has been frustrating. The July Spotlight survey showed a drop from about 1,000 deer to 432. Then the September survey listed a range of 169 to 513 deer. A range so wide it's hard to know what to make of it. It was basically confusing. But whichever number you guys use, it's still roughly half of last year's count. So I have to ask, how do we justify culling again at these levels? Not just financially, but ethically and emotionally. It takes a toll on people when they know a sharpshooter is back in their neighborhood, even when we're told not to worry. Experts have been clear, if sterilization stops before reaching about 90% coverage, the population rebounds. Long-term stability comes from reducing reproduction. I strongly urge you guys to reconsider culling this year. In closing, we have a new council member, Heather Jones, joining, and a new and a new mayor, Carmen, stepping into leadership. I truly want a positive, collaborative relationship with both. My hope, and I believe the community's hope, is that this next chapter brings more transparency, more consistent communication, and a return to the long-term evidence-based plan on City Promised. This is an opportunity for a reset and for rebuilding trust. And within the last few seconds I have, Mayor Gray, thank you for your service and your time these past 4 years. And Scott Shirley, same for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, so the pen must have gone out on this one. All I've got is an L. Maybe Laura? Bethany Lane? Ring a bell? No? No? Okay. Moving on. Alicia Formato.
Good evening. My name is Alicia Formato, 25030 Riley Lane. Last year, Tega K was successful in performing the largest sterilization program for white-tailed deer management in world history, 200 female deer spayed. This is wildly important because sustainable population decline happens through breaking the cycle of reproduction, not simply killing individuals. However, as Dr. Dina Cola has taught us, approximately 90% of the herd needs to be treated in order to create population reduction year after year. We are not done. Recent spotlight surveys from Folkland Management, performed earlier in the season and using old transects, and by White Buffalo later in the season and including transects from the far end of the peninsula, demonstrate that the highest concentration of untagged deer is on the far end of the peninsula where David Henderson cannot shoot, because the houses are too close together and the topography makes it unsafe. Left untreated, these deer in the Point Clear, Marquesas, Anchorage neighborhoods will breed, causing an immediate rebound effect in our community. Left untreated, this program will be a huge waste of the $268,000 of taxpayer dollars invested. I understand that the great success of last year's 200 deer sterilized and 160 deer killed makes you feel that you can proceed with the cheaper option, culling. However, this tool is simply not possible in the area where it is needed. And abandoning the sterilization program for even 1 year will cause us to slide backwards in terms of our goal of population reduction. I spoke with Dr. Dina Cola for an hour on Friday. He is adamant that the deer on the far end of the peninsula need to be treated with sterilization, and he is skeptical about how successful this year's culling efforts will be, but he is hopeful for new leadership next year. Furthermore, when I reached out to Dr. Charles Ruth at the SCDNR with my concern that the sterilization program was not continuing this year, he wrote back, and I quote, "You are correct. It would be a mistake to take the foot off the gas now." I forwarded this email to each of you to see for yourselves. Please follow the advice of wildlife experts. Please fulfill the commitment you made to a multi-year fertility control project. Please make good on the $260,000 investment. Please communicate with the public. Please give our community something to be proud of. As you know, many other communities and leaders are watching. And for any members of the public who are watching tonight, please check out wildaboutdeer.com for links to primary resources and science on non-lethal methods. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. Gus Machunas.
Gus Machunas, Calming Way and TKK. First, I want to say congratulations to you, Carmen. It was a good campaign, and I think the voters rewarded you and saw that. Congratulations to you too, Tom, and to Heather. Chris, thank you for your service for the last 4 years. And it was an honor and privilege to spend 2 years of it up there with you. So we appreciate what you've done. I know this is not question and answer. So when I'm done, if somebody can tell me, and you can reach out to me later, you all have my number, where and to whom do I go for an answer to my questions? Because I've not gotten any in years and years. When all the runoff started into the lake from Trinity Towns, the old runoff from Walmart, I was told we weren't MS4, so we had no enforcement power and it was up to DEAC. So then when we did Trinity Towns, we were MS4. When it happened, they came out and they looked and they saw and they said, yeah, things have happened, but don't really know who to blame here. And it's the creek and it's the pond that Miller built and it's this and it's that. So when they cleared the ground for the Grove, which I'm wholeheartedly in favor of, the SWPP was woefully inadequate. And unfortunately, when all that dirt and trees and debris were sitting up there, we had a very significant rain event. It went right through the super silt fence that was built to contain it. All that mud and dirt went through the fence. It was down there at the creek that flows directly under Stonecrest into Lake Wiley, into the cove at my home. And it was below the retention pond that has devices to stop that. And then I sent all of you pictures of the mounds of dirt, of trees and debris floating in the middle of my cove. It obviously came from the site. We're MS4. Why aren't we doing anything? Only thing that I ever got back from the city was they fixed the stormwater prevention. They fixed the silt fence. Fine. You have to remediate. Okay? All of that debris flowed right down to the dam and went over the dam, through the dam, wherever it disperses to. The dirt doesn't. It settles in the cove. When it settles in the cove, it ruins the property values of everybody there, and it's not good for our lake. And the only answer I get is, well, we made them fix the silt fence. What about remediation? That's the answer I'm looking for. Not asking for one right now, but I really would love somebody to get back with me on that, okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gus. And that would conclude our public comments. Okay. Then bring us to our approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to approve the minutes as they're written.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the answer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to new business. This is consideration of the second reading of an ordinance 607, an ordinance to adopt the latest standardized business license class schedule in the accordance with the State Standardization Act. Every odd year, each municipality levying a business license tax must adopt by ordinance the latest standardized business license class schedule as recommended by the Municipal Association of South Carolina. This ordinance is to comply with those requirements. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 607, an ordinance to adopt the latest standardized business license class schedule in accordance with the State Standardization Act.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. And that will bring us to a consideration of awarding the bid for the Tega Golf Club Pavilion renovation. In accordance with the city's procurement code, bids were solicited for this project. This item is before council to consider awarding that bid. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to award the bid for the TK Golf Club Pavilion renovation to Carolina Construction and Investments, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $810,000, and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents contingent upon the review and approval of the city attorney.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
I appreciate the fact that golf has the ability to cash fund this project in its entirety, and it's not coming out of the city funds.
Is the amount being proposed different than the bid amounts for a specific reason?
I believe it's the bid amount plus the deck.
Yeah.
The deck
You
combined
got
together.
your base bid plus the addendum of the deck on it, going with addendum 2 instead of addendum 1.
So I got a couple questions. In this, I've looked through the plans and done a lot of digging. What's the purpose of moving the bathrooms? We just redid those bathrooms last year, and
We did them. You are correct. We the golf course redid those from an aesthetic standpoint. Really, it's just because of the addition of the walk-in coolers and things of that nature. Is that facility is going to have to be self-sufficient, whereas right now you've got one operator in the restaurant who's also the operator of the pavilion. They're able to store things in their coolers inside the restaurant and take them out as they need. And you've got plumbing in that wall, so it's just relocating and just keeping that plumbing matched up. And both of them will obviously get a facelift as part of this, but that's really the crux of the reason why is to make that room so that the portion known as the turn house can be self-sufficient and stand on its own as Pinnacle, our golf management company, will be operating that facility.
How much of that plumbing is actually broke out in the line item 4 on the bid tab? I know we got $111,000 in plumbing. I know we got to put in a new line that attaches the ball washer to the
Right.
storm drain. So there's, you're laying 6-inch line there. So there's a cost of that, open trenching, that kind of thing.
You have to give me 1 second to find the exact dollar amount on plumbing. So through the bid tab. It looks to be I can get you an exact number, but it may be under specialties or mechanical. Mechanical is obviously a big one, and generally that's your HVAC, which is about $172,000. Your specialty items is about $4,086. So they're really just capping off what you've got. So if I'm standing in the pavilion looking at the back of the turn house, the restroom to the left, which I believe is the men's room, is going to move and tie in with plumbing on the right-hand side, which is the women's area. So you're going to cap off on the left-hand side and just connect on the right-hand side.
And that walk-in cooler has to have a drain too, right?
I don't know that the walk-in cooler has to or not. Sorry, I am not an expert on those big walk-in coolers. I don't know that it has a floor drain, but obviously there will be floor drains for cleanup purposes, like you would in any standard kitchen type area.
Okay. And then I noticed that we had about $110,000 for electrical. Is that including the HVAC?
No, sir. You've got $172,000 on your mechanical and $90,000 on your electrical.
Okay, but I mean, which one includes the HVAC?
Your mechanical generally includes your HVAC.
Okay.
All right.
In that, the plan proposes to relocate the service disconnect boxes and then all of the electrical feeders. I'm just wondering why we need to move those service disconnect boxes and the feeders.
Not sure, but that is a question that we can ask the architect that did the plans. I know the plans have gone through preliminary review with our building official. Some minor updates, information had to be made. Nothing as far as the actual plans go. So I can have a conversation with the building official and the architect to see if that is absolutely necessary. Or where we can value engineer some things. And we'll value engineer as we go through the project on the finishes and things like that, to where we're making sure that we're staying at or under the budget that has been presented to council tonight.
Yeah, I think it'd be important for us to try to value engineer as much as we can in this because, with the equipment that we have now, I understand we're going to have to pull more wire. We're going to have to add more circuitry. That can be done by a sub panel. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater in this. We can do it with a sub panel, and you can add as many sub panels as the amperage will take for the meters. So with that, we wouldn't have to pull new home run cable. And without having to pull new home run cable, you'll have a substantial less amount of money redoing all the wiring and everything else that we've got if we don't move those panels. So I would really like to see the engineer kind of put his pencil to paper again on that and try not to move those electrical panels because you're looking at 150 or so if we're moving those electrical panels that we can cut out and tap onto the existing home runs.
Your total amount in your base bid for electrical is 90.
Yeah, but you also got to add in your HVAC and everything into that too for the
Well,
electrical.
he's got
with it.
that as a separate line item at 172.
Well, still. And with the HVAC, do we have the tonnage on that? Do we know what kind of
I
tonnage?
do not
we
have it with me.
Okay.
I don't have it with me right now, no, sir.
Okay. All right.
But obviously, we are doubling the enclosed space, so what's there now just for the turn shack or the turn house, obviously would not be enough, would not be adequate.
And we're looking to reuse some of the equipment, everything that we've already got in the current pro shop, correct?
Your finishes as far as the cabinetry, millwork stuff, including the countertop, is we are working with the golf course to where that's going to get taken loose. We'll temporarily store it, and then it will be reinstalled by the contractor.
And Charlie, I know we spoke briefly earlier as far as when this project happens, just for the public's information, as far as the temporary pro shop plan.
If we have to, I'm a big fan of not having to move things twice. But if we have to relocate pro shop temporarily until we can get them moved in to the new location, we would be relocating them to the tennis shack right over here by the tennis courts. We had Pinnacle price out modular units, and you're looking at anywhere between $7 and $10 grand a month for a modular unit, and that doesn't include getting it hooked up to electricity and things of that nature. So we would be, it's not an ideal situation, but we would be looking to relocate them for potentially a month and a half into the tennis shack if we have to. A lot of it's just going to depend on timing.
Charlie, for anyone that doesn't understand what it is that we're doing or why we're doing, can you just give a very quick, brief recap of why it started and where it's going and what's going to change?
Absolutely. So the pro shop, which is next door to the bar and inside the main clubhouse, is going to move out to what is considered the pavilion area. So you've got one structure out by the backdrop, which is the pavilion and turn house. The pavilion would be the open air portion where different gatherings and events have happened over the years. The pro shop is going to move into that area, which will give them much more direct access and be able to view the practice area, the kart staging area, and be able to service the golf. That'll allow our new food and beverage contractor, as they come in to renovate the bar area, to expand out into the pro shop area. So a lot of moving parts for sure, but through our discussions over the past year, it was determined both by city council staff and our golf folks that having them out there was going to help them better service our golf community, and being able to expand the bar would obviously help in our food and beverage. So they'll have two very distinct areas. You're not looking at any shared areas once this begins. Having conversations with our current tenant, who has a shared space on the pavilion with golf and has an exclusive license on the turn house, and they're moving and the transitioning. It's a lot of different moving parts. So we're trying to line up as best we can to keep service disruption to an absolute minimum.
Is there going to be a place where residents can see renderings of what this is going to look like so that they can get a visual?
Of the pavilion? Yes, we can get those up on the website.
That'd be
Yes,
great.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anybody have any further discussion? Okay, well, I'll put it to the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Moving on, this is a consideration of approving Resolution 2025-02, a resolution authorizing the purchase of fleet vehicles and equipment to aid in city operations. The resolution is necessary to move forward with the purchase of 2 vehicles for TCUD, 1 service vehicle for fire, 2 maintenance vehicles for public works, 2 dump trucks for stormwater, 1 dump truck and 2 mowers for park and recreation, and 3 patrol cars for the police department. These items were discussed at the council budget workshops. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve Resolution 2025-02, a resolution authorizing the purchase of fleet vehicles and equipment to aid in city operations through First Citizens in the amount not to exceed $890,000 at an interest rate of 3.6% and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any further discussion?
Charlie, can you remind us what the plan is for paying this off? We had talked about this.
So there is no fiscal impact for the 25-26 fiscal year. The first payment would not be until January of 2027 because it's set up as one payment in arrears. It is over a 4-year term, as was discussed during our budget workshops as we discuss this. As we prepare and plan for the 26-27 fiscal year, which will be this spring now instead of this coming summer, the council at that particular time can vote to, with the budget, to just pay it off because there is no prepayment penalties, or we can pay it's basically a flat fee, I would say, each year over the next 4 years, starting with 26-27 fiscal year. But it'll be up to council at that particular time as we go through those budget workshops. As the mayor mentioned as he was introducing the item, you've got multiple funds that are involved in this. So Bob will portion that out as the notes come due, whether it's in one or in part, to apply those expenses to those specific funds. So TCUD will be paying for the TCUD trucks and so on and so forth. So regardless of where we pay it all off in 26-27, or if council elects to just follow those terms.
Charlie, I know we'd spoken about the dump trucks and possibly doing a combination of a service truck with a dump bed. Is that what we're still doing, or we
Yes.
just?
That's what we're still doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll come with the under the bed boxes and things like that for tools and that kind of thing as we discussed previously.
Okay. Yeah, just more utilitarian use of the trucks.
Your TCUD trucks are not dump trucks. They're going to have the maintenance beds on them. But as we do with all of our dump beds that we have, we get them with the service boxes underneath for small tools and things of that nature.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're using it utilitarian vehicles because we've got a lot of roles to fill. A lot of roles. Our guys do a great job in switching gears and do it quite often. So just want to make sure they've got the gear they need to do so.
Yes, sir.
And quickly going back to what Charlie mentioned about the paying the potential loan off, I know we had a discussion at the budget workshop, and I was obviously a proponent of cash funding this because we had, I think it was $2 million.
Right. Yes, sir.
But because of the change in fiscal year, we decided to take this loan. However, the interest rates have been coming down. Do we know what the state interest rate is now for our reserve fund where that money is?
We're at 4.45.
Okay, so it's getting close to the 3.6. So I know it's going to be a different council, but I'm still a proponent of trying to cash fund that with that money we'll have instead of sitting on it. Unless, of course, interest rates get a lot better.
Yes.
And we can make money
and that's one thing we're going to look at with the fire truck whenever we're able to do so. You heard me mention there is no prepayment penalty on what you're considering tonight. On the fire truck, we can't touch that one until 2027, and that is at a higher interest rate. I think that one's at 4.4. But we'll look to refinance that into a lower interest rate now that interest rates are coming down. Yes, sir. On the ladder truck. Yes, sir.
Well, and if we get the $500,000, it'll be a much
Well, the $500,000 will cover about 3/4 of the cost of that truck. So, but we can't pay it off before 2027 based on the terms of that note. So we can look once that comes time to whether how much we're prepaying off or if we're refinancing it at a hopefully a significantly lower interest rate than what it came in at.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
A couple things, if I may. For those taking notes, the vehicle appropriation, TCUD was mentioned. That's TKK Utility Department, if you're taking notes on that.
Sorry.
And also, Tom, I've always been with you on cash funding when we can. And the only reason that I'm agreeing to these terms is because we don't have to make a payment for over a year. And we're still making money. We're still making interest income on the investments that we have. that's greater than the interest rate of this loan. But I 100% agree with you. We should watch that. If that drops and we're underwater, we should probably consider a different option.
Bob looks at it on a monthly basis.
I'll bet he
on
does, yeah.
what our, and comes straight to my office and reports it to me every time. Yes,
I just
sir.
get a kick out of how excited Bob gets about it.
Yes.
It's great.
No, that's good. You're doing a good job with it.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, you got a bit of new business. This is a consideration of accepting all the streets within WINDHAVEN into the city's street inventory. Oops. No, it just went to like really, really small.
Yeah, mine did that too.
Oh, Lord.
It's because of the plats that are attachments on that. That's why I did that.
Thanks, Tom. You're always there for me. Okay. Hang on. Let me get down a little bit more. Oh, we don't have a summary. Okay.
Whoa, where are we?
Okay, the developer of WINDHAVEN subdivision has requested that the city accept ownership and maintenance of all the streets, right-of-way, and related infrastructure within WINDHAVEN. City staff have inspected the streets and associated improvements and confirmed that they meet all of the city standards for acceptance. Additionally, the city attorney has reviewed and approved the submitted title and lien affidavit. Do I have a motion?
Mayor and members of council, I'd like to make a motion to accept all streets and related infrastructure within the WINDHAVEN subdivision into the city street inventory.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Second. Have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Charlie, who's been taking care of and maintaining those streets up to this point?
The developer is responsible for it until they turn it over to the city.
So that's typically something that happens with new developments?
Yes,
after
sir.
Everything's
Every time.
built out?
It's been quite some time since a matter like this has been before council.
Yeah.
Probably the first time with this council. But yeah, so once a city or once a street hits, and Nick, please correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's 90% built out. They can petition the city to take on the roads. And the way that works is they'll submit to Nick. Nick loops in our operations director, who then coordinates with our engineers. They walk with the developer, inspect the street, the sidewalks, curb and gutter, and any related infrastructure, storm drains, that kind of thing, and then develop a punch list from there. Once the developer has completed that punch list, we go back out, inspect it again, make sure everything on the list was taken care of, and there's no new deficiencies, which is where we're at now. And then we bring it to council for official adoption into our inventory. And at that point, it becomes our road. So with WINDHAVEN, they basically, I think they asked for this about like 6-8 months ago. They began this process. So it really depends on the developer and their timing, but WINDHAVEN is built out with the exception of the commercial piece that's right up front, which shouldn't affect the roads that we're looking at.
Charlie, how's that material tested? Are we core drilling the street? Or are we doing nuke gauges?
So we go by, I do not believe we're doing core samples anymore in the actual roads, but we are getting asphalt tickets and things like that. Our engineers verifying that they do meet the SCDOT mixtures as they're going in. We do, through the road construction process, our staff does a proof roll on the subgrade, which is, for those that aren't aware, is the dirt. And make sure that it's got the proper compaction. If it doesn't, the developer has to dig it out and redo those areas. Then we do a proof roll, which is basically walking and inspecting behind a loaded weighted truck, both on the sub base and on the stone base. Typically, it's a big, massive water tanker, making sure that the stone base is stable, it doesn't sink, doesn't spread. And then from that point, they put on their base course of asphalt, which is what you see for the majority of the development before they come in and put the surface course on.
Okay. So we're just taking tickets and.
We collect the asphalt tickets.
Okay, so we're not running like a nuclear gauge or anything like that to check it. Okay.
This
Just asking, just for my knowledge.
This includes the stormwater also?
Yes, ma'am. And we require them to camera those, the pipes and everything to make sure, because they're obviously underground, to make sure that they're grouted up properly and things like that. looking, visually inspecting the street drains. Throughout the development, they put what's called sediment sacks or silt sacks in those drains. Make sure that all those get pulled out. Yeah, and that it's free of obstructions and things of that nature.
And we haven't had any major issues with stormwater in that neighborhood?
No, ma'am.
With all the rainwater? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Every now and again, you'll get some flooding during the construction process, but that's because your asphalt's not all the way up to the curb line, so you can't get some standing water and things like that in there. But once that final lift is on, just like most other streets in the newer areas of town, we typically don't have issues. And when we do, we go back and address that with the developer.
Do we have any further discussion? All right. I would call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Okay. It's consideration of amending the agreement with Carolina Football Club, doing business as Charlotte Independence. This is a proposed amendment to the current recreation soccer agreement with Charlotte Independence to require the charging of the non-resident recreation fee previously adopted by council. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the amended agreement with Carolina Football Club doing business as Charlotte Independence and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents.
Second.
Do you have any further discussion?
Could we get clarification of exactly what's changing, just so that everybody knows, please?
The only thing that's changed in the agreement, so when council considered the non-resident fees back this summer, Charlotte Independence had already begun their registration process. So basically this is us, because they do have to charge the fees that are dictated by the city. Their registration period is about to commence, similar to ours. So this is just making sure that they are, as they go forward, collecting the non-resident fee as approved by city council. So anybody that is participating in soccer here with us that is not a city resident will have that $70 per registrant fee added to it, just like we had in flag football, girls softball, baseball, and that kind of thing. That's the only thing that's changing.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? All right, then I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. It did it again. Yep. Janet, are you messing with me with this thing? Jeez Louise. Okay, this is consideration of approving Resolution 2025-03, a resolution authorizing the city manager to declare and dispose of surplus property as it relates to the fire department service truck. Thanks, Tom. Oh, you're always there to help. That's what I love about you. Under South Carolina Code 5-7-40, municipalities have the authority to own and dispose of personal property, real property, and equipment. The city is requesting that the 1994 F-800 service truck from the fire department be declared as surplus equipment, as it has long surpassed its end-of-life service. Whew. This resolution is to authorize and proceed with the sale of that surplus property. I don't know, as long as it's been here in Tega, I think we just need to concrete it in and leave it.
So, and I will,
Regular
if council's okay. So the reason we brought this one before you tonight, and we don't typically do this, state code, where the mayor just mentioned, says we may do this via resolution. You don't have to. Typically, whenever we're getting rid of surplus vehicles, equipment, we're not getting a lot of money off of those things. Chief Hasty has gotten some preliminary quotes, if you will. This one could bring upwards of $15,000 to $20,000. That's why we're doing a resolution and bringing it to y'all for consideration. Whereas with our standard maintenance truck, usually we're only getting about $2,000 or $3,000 whenever we surplus those. With this one, if approved tonight, we'll have it listed on a couple of different websites. If it doesn't sell there, then we'll put it in the auction with City of Rock Hill, as we've done in the past. It doesn't cost us anything there, and sell it, assuming that it is declared surplus tonight.
I think we'll be saving a lot of money just on Rotella oil.
Right. Yeah.
She leaks a wee bit.
You haven't done a motion yet?
Yeah, I need a motion.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, motion to approve Resolution 2025-03, a resolution to authorize the city manager to declare and dispose of surplus property as it relates to the fire department service truck, and also authorize the city manager / his designee to execute all necessary documents.
So a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion?
Way back when I was a firefighter in Pittman, New Jersey, we took a rig like this and made a comic rig out of it for parades. It was a lot of fun. But we're going to get $15,000 out of it. That might not be a wise use of it.
Is there a plan for a $15,000 to $20,000 that we might make?
Maybe
It'll be shown in sale of fixed assets on the revenue side of the budget once it's sold. Is there a plan for it? It's just part of it. It'll just be revenue in general fund. If there's something that council would like to allocate it towards, by all means, y'all can have that discussion at a future council meeting.
I just was curious if it's something that was already thought of.
Might be a couple of days worth of payments on the ladder truck.
Either that, I know Chief Hasty can always put that money to good use with training apparatus and
He's
and
good
other
with
things,
making a
so.
stretch and a buck. He sure
Absolutely. All right, do we have any further discussion?
is. No.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. It's just messing with me tonight. It's just loving to do it too. It's great. Okay, here we go. It's coming into view. All right. Okay, this consideration of approving an encroachment agreement for 2061 Marquesas Drive. The owner of 2061 Marquesas Drive is requesting to encroach upon the Greenbelt area. Their request is to construct a fenced area as depicted in the agreement. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the encroachment agreement for 2061 Molokai Drive and authorize the city manager to execute said agreement.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Yeah, we got our questions answered last month on that one.
Excuse me. This is consideration of approving an agreement with LowCountry Wildlife Specialist LLC as a part of a wildlife management program. As discussed during our budget workshop, council elected to move forward with the wildlife management program to call 80 deer. If approved, this agreement would authorize LowCountry Wildlife Specialist LLC to conduct that service. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Low Country Wildlife Specialists LLC in an amount not to exceed $44,000 and authorize the city manager to execute all necessary documents as part of the wildlife management program.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Do we have further discussion?
Yes.
If it pleases council, Joey's put together a couple slides to talk through with you as part of your discussion.
Thank you,
It
Joe.
does. Please, if you would, Mr. Blethyn.
Very pleased.
Happy to be back talking deer again. So the first slide that I have for y'all is a overview of our recent deer spotlight surveys. All this information's on the website, but it's just numbers. We can provide some context to them. So the first survey you'll see is before we did any type of wildlife management program, and you see the estimated deer population of 10 or 1,012. And the 1.5 is how many acres you have per deer. So for reference of that, you see 1.5, then 3.7. When SCDNR completed our last survey, they said that communities typically would like to see it around 15 acres per deer as part of it. So we're still kind of behind that number if that's what we're striving for. So the next survey that you have is July 22nd and 23rd of this past year, and you see a dramatic reduction in that deer population number. So I know when we had these numbers during our budget workshop, obviously there were some concerns doing it this early. Typically it's done late August, early September. But as you know, as an opportunity to give y'all data points to help with the budget conversations, that's the reason why we conduct it in that date. That was done through full claim management that did the 2024 one as well. So with council's direction, we did perform that next survey with White Buffalo helping lead that charge with city staff assisting. And you'll see a little bit of differentiation. I'll kind of explain some of those. So the first survey is using old transects. So transects are basically areas that throughout the city that they're identified where deer could be located. So they're going through that. Historically, since 2015, we've been using the same transects, and just as data points, you want to use the same data points. White Buffalo came in and made a suggestion to add data points that are listed below. You can see that we added Point Clear, Marquesas, and Anchorage, and then extensions of existing transects that we have as well, Molokai, Windjammer, and Lakeshore. So with that extension, obviously you're covering more territory, you're going to see more deer, so you'll see an elevated rate on that. So White Buffalo, they'll provide a data point, and then they'll do a range with it because obviously it's just an estimate with it. So through those conversations with Dr. DiNicola, one of the things that you're going to see is that he came back and said, I don't think your deer population was over at 1,000. That was probably overstated. Realistically, you're probably looking at a starting point of around 650 to 700 deer, which is important because of the next slide that I'm going to show you. So I have no ownership over this model. This is similar to the model that Dr. DiNicola used for us when he put together the proposal for us last year. I kind of reverse engineered it to help give statistical data points on it. Some of the things that are similar with it, I use the same recruitment rate, 1 doe equals 1 fawn for the following year. I use the same mortality rate of 20% that's carried throughout. Obviously, those are numbers that they're numbers. You know, when you get out in the wild, they could be dramatically different. You just never know until you get out there. The other change that was made too was it was factoring in culling just female deer. And as we've experienced, as we've started the culling process, is that it's kind of falls in line with around the population. Around 20% of the deer that are culled are actually bucks as well. So that's accounted for. And then the last part, in terms of the estimated population, I used his number of 700 as kind of the start date with where we began before the wildlife management program. And then that 140 to 560 breakdown of male to female is what we use from the data point of what we were seeing in the spotlight survey. And that's carried over with the number of tagged deer that's carried throughout, because that's what we carried in the spotlight survey as well. So these are just data points to kind of share with the public to kind of, you know, this is a very challenging situation. There's no right answer. It's difficult along the way, but this is just information to inform y'all as part of your decision this evening, and I'd be happy to take any questions if you have any. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, could you?
So our deer population has declined tremendously through the efforts of council over the last couple of years. First, it started off with culling, and then the next year we started off with sterilization of 200 deer, and then 160 that we had culled. From that, like 1,000 deer that we have a significant decline, and I haven't seen deer in my backyard. I've seen 5 in the last year, and it's been crazy. We've talked about deer for so long. We talked about doing the balance of sterilization and culling, but at our budget workshop, decided that we're just going to cull. I obviously didn't want to cull at all, because I still don't want to cull. But I would offer the suggestion of possibly reconsidering sterilization of maybe 50 to 100 deer. I know it's expensive. We spent a ton of money on this last year, but why take our foot off the gas now? Might as well just continue with this and see what we can do. So that's what I would offer, 50 at least, to go along with what council wants to do with culling of the 80.
Thank you, Councilman. If I may, I'll just kind of go back a little bit. When we first started this process, I came in late to the game. On council, Dr. Charles Ruth from South Carolina DNR had been studying deer in TGK for probably 12 or 15 years prior to me coming on council. He was very, very well aware of the population of deer and the changes in proliferation that had happened over the years of the city not taking action to manage the population. When we took this challenge on, it wasn't a fun one or a popular one, but it was one that we believed the city needed and the residents of the city were asking for. At that time that I began discussions with Dr. Ruth, and we as council and city staff began getting serious about this discussion, Dr. Ruth had identified that typically in the wild, an appropriate sustainable population of deer in the wild is somewhere between 1 deer for every 20 to 100 acres. Now, I know that's a very broad range, but that's what they stated. So if you can imagine 1 deer, let's do the median there and call it 60. 1 deer per 60 acres, that's pretty phenomenal. That would reduce the deer's population in the peninsula to about 50 deer. Now, in suburban and urban areas, we know that number has to look different. It will always look different. There's not hunting. They're going to continue to proliferate, but there has to be a management process there. Joey, I appreciate your number that our experts have shared with us, that 1 deer per 15 acres is more appropriate in an area like this. That would give us a total of 109 deer on the peninsula right now. If we were where the target number is that DNR and the other experts say we should have. I don't know that anyone here, and I'm speaking for myself, but from discussions with my fellow council members, I don't think anybody's here has the goal to say, let's get down to 100 deer. I don't know that would be appropriate or even possible. However, if we still have 500 deer left on the peninsula, we're still 5 times where we need to be with this population. The residents of the city have asked us as council members to take action because of significant property damage. The question came up, and it's an appropriate one, on why did we not sterilize this year and why are we only culling? We went through quite a study of the data and looked at a very aggressive spreadsheet that showed us what would happen if we sterilized and culled. And then years going forward, if we only culled or only sterilized or did a combination of those. As council, we made a decision to only cull this year or next year, first quarter, whenever that is, before the March deadline, because it was the most economical and quickest result to reduce the population. Sterilizing certainly reduces the population, but that takes years for the public to recognize that, for the population to die off, for attrition, culling, accidents, however those deer die off. That would take years for us to see results on that, and our residents are asking for action more quickly than that. So it's my opinion, and it'll be my level of support to see us with another round of culling, and if that's only 80 this year and we have to wait until after the first year to do it, or whenever that happens, it happens. But I agree with doing that because the expense is minimal and the impact is great. We also expect to have a reduction of what that budget is because we do have somewhat of a commitment, if I understand, from the Catawba Indian Nation to pay for some of the processing of that meat. I don't know if we have a commitment entirely for the entirety of the 80 deer, but we will have a reduction in what we budgeted for that. So I hope that brings some clarity for some on why we've made that decision. I don't expect everyone to agree with that, but I hope you'll respect that we've done our homework to get there.
I'd like to talk a little bit about the numbers as well. When we started this, we were under the impression that we were working with over 1,000 deer that we needed to manage. And that was not possible to do doing a single type, either just culling or just sterilization. Not in a time frame that would make the impact that our residents needed to have and that we needed to have for a healthy herd. What we're being told now is that the 1,000 was wrong and that it was closer to 700 that were should have been the estimated number that we were starting from. That's a big difference. If we look at what we did last year with the 200 sterilized deer and the 160 that were culled, our number is 576 approximately. These are not concrete numbers. These are they're data points. 576 is what we're saying we have as the current deer population. If we were to sterilize 50 deer, and we'd sterilize 50 deer only across the next 4 years, that would get us to 487 deer based on those numbers. And I'm using Dr. DeNicola's chart that he used. 487 deer is not what we would see as the goal. I think that what we've talked about has been 200 to 300 deer as a goal for that could healthily be maintained within our city peninsula. If we take 80 deer and use, and that's 50 deer at a cost of $75,000 a year across every year to get us to 487 deer. My computer's going to die. If we do what we have proposed with 80, yeah, and we don't do any, sorry, I'm gonna go through here real quick, and we don't do any type of sterilization going forward, and it's 80 deer per year, that gets us to 183 deer by the end of that 4th year. And that is at a cost of $48,000 a year. Those are the numbers that I looked at. I looked at the fact that we're starting off with 300 deer less, and if we move across, we can look at sterilizing, which keeps a higher number of deer in the community. We can look at a combination of both, but at the end of the day, if we're looking at being efficient and we're looking at the fiscal responsibility of this, the 80 culling every year going forward gets us to where we need to be in 4 years versus the sterilizing, even 50 a year at a half of the expense that we're thinking about. We're not going to get there at the end of 4 years. I don't like the decision of this. There's nothing in me that says that this is a great way to do it, but it is the most efficient. We committed to doing a deer management plan that was looked at every single year based on counts. We are starting off with 300 less deer than what we thought we had, and this gets us there with managing it and managing the expense to get there.
I'll just chime in real quickly. To Alicia's point, I'm very proud of what we did last year with the sterilization being the biggest ever, the first ever. And, you know, the plan was always to look at this year to year with these new numbers. I think it makes sense to get that immediate reduction, but don't rule out sterilization in the future. I think once we get a manageable herd and we look at sterilization at that point, we can maintain that manageable herd of deer at the level that's right for the city, where if we only go with sterilization, it's going to take probably 10, 15 years to get us to a manageable level that we find, that the residents find acceptable. So that's why this year I was in favor of culling because of the fiscal nature of it. and getting that immediate reduction. But again, I'm not opposed to looking at sterilization again in the future. I just don't think it's right at this moment. That's all.
Thank you, council. I appreciate it. Well, as far as I'm for doing the getting to the points A and B. Quickest way to get there is a straight line. So with that, the quickest way we can get there is to call another 80 deer this year, and to keep putting those numbers back in our quiver again for the next years. I want to get down to a manageable herd size. I think that we look at it every year, and we can adjust our approach as needed each year. So if we're looking at it next year and we've got 400, then we're getting an awful lot closer to where we want to be. I don't enjoy this particular portion of council, never have. But it's something that we have to do. It's a necessity that we have to do. We got a lot of property damage that's been as a result of the deer, and I appreciate council and Joey. I appreciate you for being together with us, ladies. I appreciate everything that you've done, because it's been a combined effort, and it's been a learning process for everybody. So I appreciate everything that's gone into it. And yeah, everybody is looking at us. So we want to make sure that we succeed in this, and want to make sure that we carry through and see those numbers where they need to be. Now, I don't think that we want to be at 100. I don't think 100 is good for what we want. We want to be able to see our deer. We want to be able to appreciate them and enjoy them. So 100 to me is way low. So are we going to get there in the next 4 years? Yes, we'll get there. Do we need to do sterilization this year? No. I'm not a proponent of doing sterilization this year. I would rather do the culling. Let's do like we've been doing, do the culling, get some more numbers, and make the best educated guess we can next year. So in that, I would call the question. If there's any further discussion.
Just one, if I may.
What's that?
Just want to reiterate one challenge that the folks that came in and did the sterilization last year, one big challenge that they had last year was there was an effort of overfeeding in the peninsula of the deer, which created a significant health risk for the deer, as they were, basically what they did was they spayed the deer just like you would a dog or cat. The deer were quite bloated from the excessive feeding that they had. What they were being fed was corn, which is not a natural product for them. It bloats them. It's like a steady diet of junk food. And they had a difficult time sewing a lot of those deer up and putting them back out in the wild as a result of that. Intentionally feeding deer is unlawful in the city of Tega, and I would respectfully ask our residents to refrain from that, as it will have a significant impact on our ability to manage the herd, and for those folks to be successful when they come, hopefully next year. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any further discussion?
Just one last thing. So we started this with a lot of people in the community that were very adamant that they did not like the fact that there was deer in their yard, eating all their vegetation, making their flowers and their plants and everything. They were just eating everything. And we had multiple complaints, right? Emails and calls, and I mean, we got them all over the place. Over the last year, since we worked on this, how many complaints have you guys received?
Few.
I haven't received any in regards to that. Very, very, very few. So I just want that to be part of the consideration of what's going on. We were successful with what we did. Where we're at right now with our population of deer is a good place, I feel. And I don't feel a reduction should be justified. But I do appreciate what you guys said, but I don't agree with it.
If we stop now, I'm sure those emails will continue. But I respect your opinion very much. Thank you. And you've been very consistent with your opinion too.
Any further discussion? All right, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You got that, Casey? Okay. All right. And now we will cover council comments. You ready? All right. If
Better
you would
get ready,
please,
Ryan.
sir.
All right, here we go. Well, I want to say thank you to the people that showed up this evening to watch our council meeting. There's a whole bunch of young people in the crowd as well, so thank you guys. It wasn't too long of a meeting, but where are you guys from? Fort Mill. Oh yes, another class coming in. Oh, I love it. Thank you. Well, welcome. I'm glad that you guys can make it. For everybody watching online, thank you so much. Thank you for everybody on the city staff and all the department heads for doing what you guys do, because you guys make this community amazing. Veterans Day last week, Tuesday, excuse me. The TKK Veterans Association held a service or ceremony over at the Memorial Gardens, which was awesome for all the veterans out there, and just everybody. So I want to say thank you for Tom, Mr. HYSLIP, for your service and that kind of stuff, or a veteran on council. I want to say congratulations to Fort Mill High School Yellow Jackets, their 2025 York County Girls Flag Football Championship. That's pretty impressive for the first year and to be that dominant and do what they got to do. If there's one council member's daughter has been up here twice in the last couple of months. That is Mr. HYSLIP's daughter. Like she's pretty good. You put her on a team and stuff it's going. So pretty good. Yeah. The rest of the girls are awesome and the coaching is awesome as well. But I just want to make sure I point that out because that's some good stuff that way. We had we had an election recently, and Councilman HYSLIP's been reelected. So congratulations. We have congratulations to Mayor Pro Tem Miller for being mayor of TKK, heading forward into our January. And then congratulations to our newest council member, Heather Jones, back there in the corner. You're going to be up here soon, so congratulations. Okay. Let's see. There is the 5th annual Hal Brunswick Stew Festival is coming up this Saturday, the 22nd, from 2 to 5. The proceeds go to the Lions Club, so make sure you go check that stuff out. The food is phenomenal, so go off and get you some if you want. Let's talk about recognition in the community. I always want to do that. There's some people that I want to recognize. They took time away from their family this past week to go up to Wisconsin to check out our new ladder truck that the fire department is getting. And they went off and they trained on it and checked everything out and just made sure they're really familiar on this piece of equipment before it's delivered down to us next month. That is our Chief Glenn Hasty, Captain Justin Daly, Lieutenant Ed Libator, Lieutenant Anthony Knight, and Engineer Mike Doster. So thank you guys so much for doing that and that kind of stuff. It's been fantastic. So last thing, we got the lights going up TKK Drive, which is fantastic. But hey, let's not forget what happens next week. Next week is Thanksgiving. So it goes into the holiday season. Thanksgiving comes first. And let's really remember community and what we really need to be thankful for. We're thankful. Like, I'm thankful for council. I don't agree with them a lot of times. I don't, but we can agree or disagree, but still be cordial with each other. And I ask that for the community and all of our residents to do that and just be thankful for what we have. One of the things that we complain about are like first world problems where like our leaf truck isn't working. Come on, like we are an amazing community with really just beautiful neighborhoods and beautiful people all around. So make sure that you're just thankful for that. And I just ask you to remember that when you go into Thanksgiving. So those are my comments.
Thank you, Councilman Carter.
You are welcome.
If you would please, sir, Councilman HYSLIP.
Thanks, Mayor. First, just to reiterate what Brian said, thanks to everyone that's here, everyone watching at home or on YouTube later. Appreciate you taking the time to stay engaged and understand what we're up to here. Of course, I got to give a shout out to the flag football team from Fort Mill. As Brian said, my daughter Reagan's on that team, and I'd never watched a flag football game in my life. And the rules were a little different, so it took me a little while to understand what was going on other than pulling the flag. But it was awesome seeing those young ladies out there, and then to win the first county championships was really cool. Couple runners here in the crowd I see. I'm sure they'll all be here soon enough with their teams, but just a quick shout out to the boys and girls cross country teams with Fort Mill. They both won the state championships on Saturday. The girls, 3-time defending champion, boys were a repeat champion, and so congratulations to all them. Yeah, high school. Team is stacked. Second, right? Second place finisher, and Connor, you were fourth? Fourth place finisher right here in the crowd, getting their civics duty in. So congratulations, both of you, outstanding job. Also, I did see the picture of the fire truck, Chief Facey. It's a pretty truck. I don't know if you're going to want to use it. It's so pretty, but excited to get that. And I also, Charlie mentioned it earlier. I want to give a shout out to, Senator Graham for getting that money allocated to the city in the CR budget there. So thank you to Senator Graham for that. I know we are very happy about that. Brian mentioned Hollis Stew event, so I won't reiterate that, but it's this Saturday, so get your orders in if you haven't. Veterans Day was awesome. We also had a Veterans Day dinner that the TK Veterans Association put on, so thank you to the staff and the Veterans Association for both those events. They were outstanding. To all the staff, city looks awesome. Love the lights are up. Parks are looking great. You're all doing a wonderful job. And I will close with congratulations to Carmen and Heather for your election victories. I look forward to serving 4 more years with both of you. And also I want to give a shout out to Alice, John, Thomas, and Ron for being willing to run. It's for anyone who's never run for office, it's not an easy thing to put your name out there and put your name on that ballot and then go through campaign season, because campaigning, in my opinion, is the fun part, because you're out talking to people, meeting people. Then when you win, you get up here and the government starts, and that's where the work starts. So look forward to serving both of you. I'll say goodbye to you too next month. So with that, everyone have a great Thanksgiving, and we will see you in December.
Thank you, Councilman HYSLIP. Councilman Shirley, if you would, please, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll start with just a question for Charlie, if you will. Did you have an opportunity to look into the text message I sent about that leaf truck contractor that said they're available?
Yeah, we had a conversation about it. The folks that helped us last year, basically a day or two into it, they said this is way too much for us and backed out. Their equipment's just not sized for the volume that we have, but
fair enough.
Fingers crossed tomorrow is a positive day and we can get those operations resumed. But yeah, we did have that conversation.
But just to reiterate, if folks bag them and put them at the curb, they are getting picked up, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that. Folks, tree lighting on December 4th, come on out for that. That's always a great event. It's always a lot of fun. It's a really nice time for our community to come together around that Christmas tree. I love seeing the crowds there and the carols and just having a really good time of fellowship together. Trish, thank you for the event that you put on this weekend. That was a great turnout, and you and your team did a great job of collecting a tremendous amount of toys for kids that might not have a Christmas. So thank you very much for putting that together. That was a lot of fun. I was glad to be a part of that. I was honored, and I'm really thankful to the city for putting those extra courts in to make it so easy for Trish to coordinate that while others could still play recreationally on the other courts. That went very, very well. Thank you for everyone that took time to speak tonight, and those of you that came out to participate in the meeting, and whether you're a spectator or an active participant, thank you for your interest in the city and being the best part of TKK. For the students that are here, thank you for being here. Hope it wasn't disappointing for you. You have something to go back to report on. The hard part's now you got to put the essay together and turn it in for a grade, I guess, right? Thank you for being here. Leadership is not always popular, but it's a necessary part of our life. So I hope you find yourself in a position like that sometime in the future. Last thing I'll say is 8-2, fly Eagles fly.
And I just want to point out that Panthers won this weekend too. So I mean, hey, it was a good thing.
Miracles do happen.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, if you would please.
Yeah, it's Christmas. It's a Christmas miracle. I would also like to say how amazing our Christmas lights are, and thank you, staff. I actually missed my turn today because I was busy looking at the lights as I was driving, because it is just so pretty to see them. I also wanted to recognize our police department, 3-minute, 20-second response time. There is a reason why we're the safest city in South Carolina, and that has a whole lot to do with it. Obviously, our PD has everything to do with it, but the response time certainly helps. Wanted to just say We have a chat with council coming up this Wednesday, the 19th, from 5 to 6. If you would want to have more time to talk to us directly, Tom and I will be hosting it. We're happy to answer any questions. And please know that there's no topic that's nothing that's off the table. We're happy to answer, if we can, anything that you want to bring to us. And it's a great opportunity because when you come and speak to us here, we get to listen to you, but we don't get to answer questions back or be part of that conversation. When we have our chat with council, it is a two-way conversation. So we truly do mean it when we say, come and talk to us and we'll answer your questions. I am very proud to have earned your vote this election season. I'm looking forward to next year serving with Brian, with Tom. Congratulations on being elected again, and Heather, congratulations to you. I know that we've got a lot of good things that are going to happen in the next years, and I won't say goodbye to you two either until next meeting. For you guys that are here from Fort Mill and the kids that just left that were recognized, Fort Mill makes champions. They just do. They do it it seems like every month we're recognizing someone. Parents make champions. So go home and thank your parent, because there's a reason why you're here. And they deserve a little gratitude for that. And that's it. Happy Thanksgiving next week. Believe it or not, I will get to miss all the fun stuff with the tree lighting. My husband's taking me on vacation, and but I'll be with you in spirit.
We'll miss you.
I'll be warm, very warm.
Thank you, Madam Mayor-elect. That would bring it to me. First of all, congratulations, Tom, Carmen, Heather. Congratulations. Thank you for putting your name in the hat and running, and Tom wanting to do all this again, and Carmen wanting to do it some more. I mean, hats off to you.
God bless you.
Absolutely. So I appreciate you doing that. For our young folks in the audience, thank you for hanging out with us. I hope that you have a newfound appreciation for the boredom that takes over in the middle of council chambers. But we appreciate you being here. If you guys need me to sign anything, I'll be happy to sign something for you when you get done here. But we are coming into the holiday season. Thank you to all of our staff for making the city look absolutely phenomenal. The Christmas tree is almost complete, from what I can see. So it's looking great. The lights are up, and it's my favorite time of year coming into everything. To our fire department, thank you, Chief. You and your men for taking your time to go up there to review a piece of equipment for us that's going to keep us safe. I know that spending time away from the family is rough, but I appreciate you guys and your willingness to do that. Thank you very much. For our PD, the response times are absolutely incredible. Thank you for all the good work. I know that Chief's not here, but he can watch the meeting. So, but I appreciate everything that you guys are doing on PD. We've got some really good stuff coming up. If you want to donate some time, we do have our, we're not calling it Shop with a Cop anymore. Holiday with Heroes. We're gonna need folks to wrap some presents up for these families that go shopping with our police officers. We do that at station number 1 every year. If you want to, come grab a table, bring some wrapping paper with you. We'll have some pizza, have a good time, and it's for a great cause for needy families around the area. And these kids, it's a blessing every year. I get choked up even thinking about it. But these kids they've been through a whole lot, and our police officers are such great folks to take care of those kids and families. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So we have a lot to be thankful for in TK. We are the safest city in the state of South Carolina. We don't have the problems that other cities do outside of here. We do live in the TK bubble. And that is in part to our PD, our fire department, and our citizens that live here. We take care of each other. In the TK, we always have. So this year, if you see somebody that's having a little trouble at the register, reach into your pocket, pull out some extra money, and maybe pay for their groceries this year. We are blessed. Our neighbors, we've got a lot of neighbors that are a little older. They might not have the families coming in this year. They might not have, their family to come in, might be alone. Reach out to your neighbors. Invite them over to your house and break bread with them. If they don't have anybody there, it'll be very special to them that you reached out. Nobody needs to be alone during the holidays. And especially in TEK, nobody needs to be alone in the holidays. We're better than that. So let's do everything we can to reach out to our neighbors and know what they're doing for the holidays. And if they're going to be alone, if people are going to not be with family and invite them to your house. It's just, it'll bless you. And with Thanksgiving coming, let's all just take a minute and think of how thankful we are to live where we do and to be able to do what we do. We don't have to worry about walking down the street and being mugged. Our kids are going to come home at night. We don't have to worry about a lot of the things that other urban areas have to worry about. So let's be thankful for that, and let's be good stewards of that and try to pay it forward to our generations to come. As council, it's our responsibility to assume the leadership roles in this community. They're not decisions that we like to make sometimes. Sometimes it's pretty easy to make the decisions, like buying a fire truck. It's great. But a lot of these decisions are not, they're not easy decisions to make. And I wanted to thank this council for making those hard decisions, and previous council for making the hard decisions to keep the TEK bubble intact and to keep us the city that we are. It is through the strength and leadership of folks that we're standing on their shoulders now to where we've got TEK that we've come to know. And we want to continue that. So I thank each and every person that ran this year. To put your name out there and to assume that kind of role, it's tough. And working with everybody, it's tough. But thank you for doing that, because it does ensure that our way of life continues through the years. Really excited to see the Grove coming on. That's a great thing. And I'm really excited to see the Christmas season. So make sure you come out for the tree lighting with us. That's always a big time. And I know Caroline's not here tonight, but she's going to have to find a place to put that big old button. Currently, it's stored at my garage. But nevertheless, I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for listening to what I had to say and our other fellow members of council. So I just wish God's blessing upon you this season, and just hope that everybody has a great holiday and enjoy yourself, enjoy your family, and just remember what's important. And I appreciate it. With that, we need a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'd like to make a motion to enter into executive session for legal advice as it relates to the city's communication policy, legal advice as it relates to the liquor license at the TK Golf Course, and discussion of personnel matters as it relates to the city manager's annual review.
Have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are in executive session. Thank you, folks. Have a great Thanksgiving.